Hello, good morning. This is Nile FM. It's Wednesday morning, and we're very happy to have on the line right now two of the best new musicians around. They're making classical music cool.
And crossing it over, different cross-genre, cross-culture. They're multi-instrumentalists. And they're...
Multi-instrumentalists.
There's a word for you, huh?
Right. And also they're Egyptian, Scottish as well. And they join us on the line. Sarah and Laura, the Ayoub Sisters. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning. Hello.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Very well, thank you. Very well, thanks. How are you guys?
Yeah,
very well.
Great.
Where are you in the world right now?
We're in London town.
You're in London town. Lovely.
Oh, that's fabulous. Well, I mean, we've been talking about you all throughout the show, and I think lots of people are really interested in hearing how you sort of started out in music, and how your love for music started.
Well, I guess we've got our mum to thank for that. Both of our parents grew up in Cairo and then moved to the UK to Scotland about 25 years ago.
Right.
And when they moved there, our mum discovered the radio station Classic FM.
Right.
And she had classical music playing in the house basically since the days that Sarah and I were both born. And we were really intrigued by the music that we were hearing coming from the radio station. So Sarah enrolled in keyboard lessons. I kind of followed her. We both started learning and took to it very quickly, and then started with other instruments, as violin and cello, and it moved very quickly from then on.
You play lots of, in this term that Sally just mentioned, like multi-instrumentalist. This covers everything. I mean, what are the weird things that you can tinkle on and play?
Well, we've gone through a few phases of, the singing phase, the guitar, the trumpet, and all sorts. But currently, we've decided to focus on piano, violin, and cello. That's enough. That's
fine. That's fine.
Enough for now.
That is a lot, to be fair. I mean, is it very different having to switch gears, or is it like as soon as you're able to play one instrument, the rest kind of follows suit? It's the same sort of thing.
Well, the theory behind learning, stays the same. The kind of the backbones of the music education, so to speak, but there's different techniques involved with mastering each instrument, each craft.
All right.
And that's what takes up a lot of the time.
Okay. What I wanted to ask you, we'll move forward to this period where Mark Ronson gets involved in your careers, and this is when things really change for you. What happened with that situation? What happened?
Well, yeah, what were the events that led to that?
So we decided to film a video of ourselves playing Uptown Funk on the violin and cello and put it on YouTube. And that was about 2 years ago. And as a result of that, Mark saw it and liked it, I guess, and got in touch with us through MasterCard Surprises and invited us to Abbey Road Studios in London to record a new cover of it that he produced.
Wow.
For the Brit Awards.
That's an amazing thing, though. Like when you're sat there in Abbey Road Studios, where, of course, the Beatles are famous for recording there, and Pink Floyd and stuff. And what's that like? You just sitting there and being able to record in such an iconic place.
It's one of those things that only really hits you months afterwards. Just the scale of what you've done. At the time, it was just kind of one surprise after another, and it was just extremely surreal. It's only now that we really talk about it, we realise the extent of how lucky we were to get that opportunity.
Well, you kind of make your own luck, I guess, in the sense that you put your video on YouTube and you were so good that you impressed people. So you kind of made your own luck, I guess. But
it's putting yourself out there. It's having the confidence to just kind of share what you do with kind of the internet can be a ruthless place, but it can be a very exciting place in that things like that can happen.
Yeah, and also, the classical music world as well. They're very critical, aren't they? Of you have to get everything perfect. So did you feel that pressure as well when it came, when it comes to performing classical pieces and that sort of thing?
Oh, absolutely. That was one of the reasons we were quite reluctant in uploading this video in the first place. we're classically trained, and to play a different type of genre, to play pop music, it's quite a bold statement. When you're kind of brought up in this classical environment, you know, the conservatoires, and you know, it's quite a tricky balance to kind of let yourself free in a way, and kind of let yourself go.
Have you had different responses from people? Like some people who look down on you for playing pop music, and then I guess some new people bringing in new people to classical music by playing pop music.
Absolutely. We're trying to bridge the gap between like the older generation and our younger listeners. People who wouldn't normally listen to a symphony orchestra, but wouldn't associate, you know, like Billie Jean and Uptown Funk with, you know, violin and cello. So in a way, we're trying to do something new and something creative to actually bridge the gap between these listeners and these genres.
Well, that's not the only place that you're bridging gaps. You're also bridging gaps in terms of culture as well, because obviously, despite your very strong Scottish accents, you are Egyptian as well.
And by the way, I can't tell who's speaking. By the way, I don't know.
Very similar, yeah.
I don't know who's Sarah and who's Laura. I'm not quite sure. So, how does your Egyptian culture input into your music and the way? Because I know you write your own music as well. How does that come into it?
So we arrange our own music. We also write our own music, and we just released our debut album a couple of weeks ago. And on that, you can hear there's some Scottish tracks. There's also some Arabic music in there, as well as our love for pop and, of course, our classical upbringing. So we've kind of brought all influences from all of our kind of life experiences and put it onto a disc, so to speak.
Yeah, and how long did it take for you guys to put the album together?
We had about 3 months intensive writing period to write the majority of the album. So Sarah and I were writing kind of huge orchestral scores, like just 7 or 8 at a time, continuously for 3 months. And then we had one day in Abbey Road Studios to record the bulk of the album, which was pressure. Let's just say it was a bit of pressure, but thankfully it worked out. But it wasn't long at all. We kind of put ourselves to the limit in terms of getting everything ready on time.
Now, obviously, that must be quite a stressful time. Obviously, working flat out, you're working so hard, and you're working together. Obviously, you love each other because you're sisters, but of course, sisters being sisters, is that ever a difficulty? Do you catfight?
Catfight? Maybe not.
Not that much.
It definitely. Something that intensive will put any relationship to the test. We had so much to do that if we turned to each other and started bickering over it, was just we had no time or energy for that kind of thing to be seeping in. So thankfully we kind of managed to keep it together.
So Mum didn't have to step in. Mum didn't have to step in at any point and like, come on, girls.
Not quite, no. But I think it's it's a testament to the fact that we do work well together, because under extreme pressure we managed to kind of pull through without turning to each other and pulling each other's hair out.
Well, you've done more than just pull through, you guys. To be honest, your album is doing great things. You're number 1 at the classical charts at the moment, isn't that right?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, so I mean,
that's amazing.
That is such an accomplishment. You guys are so like humble and modest about it, going, there's a lot of pressure. We're just putting together a little album, and it's actually a big deal. You have a record deal. This album is doing so well, and you guys are the ball is definitely rolling. I mean, you guys have performed at the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah.
Tell us about performing. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, the Royal Albert Hall is like one of those venues, especially for a classical musician, that anybody would dream to play, let alone on your debut album.
Yeah.
I mean, what was that like?
That was brilliant. I think if I speak on the behalf of both of us, that was our performance highlight of our careers so far. It's a massive, iconic venue, and we played to it sold out. So it was about 5,370 people.
Wow.
And it was broadcast live on Classic FM as well. And the reason we had that slot, we had 5 minutes at the Royal Albert Hall. It was as a result of a competition that we won a year prior to that, and that was the prize, 5 minutes at the Royal Albert Hall. So that was, amazing.
Were there a few tears shed?
Definitely. Absolutely.
It's so phenomenal, and I mean, it's always so wonderful. Like, it's for Egyptians, seeing Egyptians succeed and sort of take that forward. It's with any kind of venture, of course, but especially in the arts, it's always such a wonderful thing. You guys definitely have all of us backing you and supporting you over here.
So what is?
Oh, thank you.
What is next then? I mean, I guess you're still promoting your album when it came out a few weeks ago. Have you got in the run up to the end of the year any big events coming up?
Yeah, this is exactly the plan for us now, to try and spread the album as far and wide as it will go. Kind of raise awareness, try and build a fan base here and maybe abroad eventually. So, we have a few concerts coming up leading up to the end of the year. We're on tour with someone called Gareth Malone. I'm not sure if...
He's a choir master. He's a choir master, right?
Yes. So we're doing a UK tour with him in November and doing bits and bobs here and there. So, trying to promote and spread the music as far and wide as possible.
And you're heading to China soon as well, aren't you?
Visa permitting, yes.
Visa permitting, yes.
Yes. Hopefully on Tuesday.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Yes.
It's so amazing. I mean, you guys, you like I said, you're doing such great things. Not only did you perform at the Royal Albert Hall, you performed at the BAFTAs, performing George Michael's song Mother's Pride.
And that's on your new album as well, that version of George Michael's Mother's Pride, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on the album, yeah.
Yeah. And your album itself, so a couple of the tracks on there are very Egyptian. They're rooted very much in your Egyptian roots, aren't they?
Absolutely. We've got 2 in there celebrating our Egyptian heritage that are definitely ones to listen out for.
Okay, fabulous.
Well, we're gonna play something from your new album now. Sally, what's the name of the track?
The track is called Mr. Lou.
What I know it
Brilliant.
as is the theme tune to Pulp Fiction. That's
a lot of people will think of that. But what a lot of people don't know is that folk song actually originated in the Middle East many, many years before Dick Dale covered it and it appeared on the Tarantino film. So it's a true Arabic piece at heart, and we've added another traditional folk song, which is Ayazin.
Ayazin.
One of our favorites in the album.
That's wonderful. I mean, lest we forget as well, I mean, this is one of the most sampled pieces of music. Black Eyed Peas used it for Pump It as well.
Yeah.
But that's so good, you guys. It's so exciting. Your album is fantastic, and I really do hope that everyone, gets it, buys it, has a listen. It is so good, and we are, like I said, we're your cheerleaders over here.
Yeah, we're championing you girls.
Thank you so much.
And it's been lovely to speak to you both, and we hope to check in with you again soon. Wish you the best of luck in China, best of luck with the new album, best of luck with all your concerts before the end of the year, and we hope it all goes well, and we're absolutely sure it will.
Yes, indeed. And can we get We Love Nile FM in Arabic as well from you guys before you go?
Of course. احنا بنحب نايل FM. مبروك على الكورة يا جماعة.
Congratulations on the football, everyone. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being with us on the show this morning. That's the Ayoub Sisters, you guys, Sarah and Laura. So nice to have them on the show.
Lovely talking to you. Have a lovely day in London. Hope it's not too cold.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.